you state your name and today's date?
Today on this 18th day of July 2014 in New Delhi, in India, I am Tajinder Pal Singh.
How old were you in 1984?
I was 17, 18 years of age during 1984 when the violence took place first in June at Darbar Sahib and then in Delhi and other parts of India.
What was your occupation?
I was a student during that time studying at Khalsa College, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, North Campus, Delhi University.
Yeah, so how and when did you hear about the violence in June?
The June violence we came to know about the same through television, media, and also through radio channels.
And what did you hear or see?
The first news was that the Indian Army has undergone and have done an operation to flush out the terrorists. That was their line of news, and that most of the people who were holed up in Golden Temple were either killed or people like Jathila Tola at that time, Archan Singh Longowal at that time, Prakash Singh Badal at that time, they all surrendered or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but that's what we hear during those times.
And what was your reaction? What were you thinking or feeling?
It was a kind of mixed reaction. I was not able to understand that, first of all, how could you allow this to happen in your own country? Because if there were terrorists holed up at Golden Temple, why was not there a government agency with such a strong intelligence system was not able to stop the accumulation of arms and ammunition? If they wanted, they could have easily stopped that 6 months, 8 months, 1 year before. Secondly, even if we agree what the government says, although it has been now rebuked by the British report, which says that they had that attack on the Golden Temple, Sri Harmandir Sahib, was planned much before, and that it was not a reaction but a pre-planned conspiracy with the help of British government or British intelligence agency. Even if we don't believe that theory for a minute, what was the requirement of attacking another 24 Gurdwaras within Punjab? And it's very hard to understand for somebody like me that if you want to stop accumulation of arms in any place, you can easily put 10 barriers, 20 checkpoints, your own intelligence agencies, and this could have been avoided. What happened at Darbar Sahib could have been avoided because it has left a permanent scar in the psyche of Sikhs, and mostly the rest of India thinks that it was fault of Sikhs who propagated terrorism at that time. But every person who was wearing a turban was deemed as a terrorist. The way now the Muslims are deemed as terrorists world over because of the media. And there was a point when all Hindus were deemed as killers of Mahatma Gandhi when Mahatma Gandhi died. So this is basically a ploy to malign a particular community all the time.
Yeah.
So I personally feel this could have been avoided, and India would have been a better place if they would have not played with the sentiments of their own people just to get few votes. This was all a political game. Because the claimant of so-called Anandpur resolution and Anandpur Sahib resolution now are part of the government, and the people who talk about stopping terrorism are abetting state terrorism now. So there are two kinds of terrorism everywhere in the world. One is state terrorism and one is terrorism by the inflicted parties. I'll just take one point, I'll just try to add one point, that if they were terrorists, why can't, what is happening in the whole of India when it comes to Naxalite movement? Who is supporting them? Who is giving them arms? Why the people who cannot afford two meals in a day, simple 2 meals, how can they buy such expensive arms? I think the governments and all the parties concerned, leave aside what happened in 1984 for a minute, although it can never leave my psyche or psyche of any sensible Indian who understands the conspiracy of the governments and the political parties. But at least don't let it happen again. Don't play with your own people for votes.
So where were you in November?
I was, when it happened in November 1984, we were in college. I was in my school college library when we heard that this has started. I had to rush back to home, and there's a friend of ours, family friends, who luckily saw me and gave me lift to my home before the violence could erupt all over Delhi and other parts of India.
So what was your reaction?
There was no reaction. It was more of a surprise, shock, and a feeling of being devastated. I mean, reaction would be too small a word to explain. We were shell-shocked. It's like, when somebody throws a 5,000 watt light straight on your head, straight on your face, and you just get blind. It was that state of mind. Nothing more.
Did you and your family and your friends become a target in 80?
I think everybody became a target. By saying my immediate family, I think we were killed just because we were Sikh. So the whole Sikh community is our family. So everybody who was killed is my family. But if you talk in the sense of biological family, although I was not married at that point of time, but I got married in a family, my current wife, my present wife. And I lost my father-in-law and 2 brothers-in-law in 1984, anti-Sikh genocide. My father-in-law was a retired army person. My younger brother-in-law was an aspiring doctor. And my elder brother-in-law was a budding businessman who was trying to do small business, self-employed, sole trader, small business. My mother-in-law, Jaspal Kaurji, and my wife Kiran Singh were the only surviving member, because all those 3 people were killed and burnt alive.
So did you continue to live where you were living after the violence, or did you leave?
Yeah, we continued to live there because we were also saved by our neighbors. So that's why I never call it riot, because it was not a Hindu-Sikh riot, it was not a Sikh-Muslim riot, it was not a Hindu-Muslim riot. It was government planned to eliminate Sikhs, so it was an anti-Sikh genocide. We were saved by our Hindu friends, Hindu families. They took care of us. They gave us shelter. They gave us food, everything. They took that risk of being eliminated. But overall, yes, we were saved by our neighbors. Primarily, they were Hindus. And nice, gentle families all over the block came and saved us. That's why I don't call it a riot. I call it a genocide.
Did you share your experiences about 84 with friends and
For a few years, Sikh boys could not attend late parties, late functions. Sardarjis, Sikhs all over Delhi started avoiding late night outings. Also, there was a sense of fear. Not because Sikhs fear anybody, because the government was not neutral. The government was the preparator. The government became a killer. So the person whom we were supposed to complain were actually the people who are our killers. The judicial system, the police system, the executive, judiciary and administration were hand in glove to kill Sikhs.
Have you had any nightmares or flashbacks at all?
Yes, we do get. We do get nightmares. My wife gets most of the nightmares. Even my mother-in-law gets nightmares. I have not been able to reconcile that how can we be killed in our own country. That is something I don't think I'll be able to reconcile till I leave this world bodily. But the scar is gonna be there, and it has got more deepened because there has been no justice.
So did 1984 bring any changes to your outlook?
It has not brought any change in me as a human being, because not me alone, because thanks to my grandparents, my Nanaji and my Naniji, and blessings of my mother, and the Chaddi Kala spirit of my mother-in-law, that we now realize two things in our life. That one, we have to be a good practicing Sikh, because that gives you a lot of courage and spirit to survive these kind of situations. But at the same time, yes, we don't feel that comfortable sometimes when we see the people who are killers had been ministers in past or have got all the government benefits. So it's like, if you have killed Sikhs, good on you, now we make you minister. If you have looted Sikhs, good, we make you councillors or MLAs. So this is something which is not acceptable. It can't be erased from our psyche or our psychology.
Why, in your opinion, did all of this happen?
Because one, we were minority. Two, we don't have a leader who can actually stand up. Still, we don't have a very strong Sikh leader. Most of the Sikh leaders who claim to themselves to be Sikh leaders are money oriented, business oriented. They are only interested in their personal gains. In true sense, we don't have a leader. That's one. Two, since Sikhs are in minority and we don't constitute much of in terms of votes in India, that's why they are not bothered. It's scaled down to again one basic criteria, that is votes, and we don't contribute. We just contribute 1.6% in the total population. So they are not bothered. Unlike most parties are bothered about Muslim votes because they are approximately 20%, and then they can contribute because a consolidated group can create differences.